All right, I'm gonna be uploading, but I'm gonna be watching this at the same time.
It has to be one of the goofiest years in gaming history.
I agree.
We experienced some extreme highs and
some extreme lows.
Blessed with some masterpieces
Yes.
like Baldur's Gate 3,
Yes.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Some legitimately good
and
games
also
came out, and some
the
ass.
most revolting trash that has ever been
Yes.
carted out
Yes.
in the gaming ecosystem.
Yes.
There were a ton of super stinkers this year.
Yes.
Like the hits were hitting.
Yes.
But the shits
Was
they
shitting.
were shitting. It is crazy how we had such a huge amount of incredible games and extremely bad ones. Like, some of the worst games in recent memory came out this year, and sometimes within a month of each other. Choosing just 5 games for this list was actually pretty difficult because there were so many that could have broken into the top 5. But using the scientific method, I was able to break it down here to the factually, objectively correct take for what are the worst 5 games of 2023.
Let's hear it,
this
brother.
is the end of the year pseudo Moisties awards ceremony. I'll briefly explain why it's not an official Moisties production.
That's
it's
fine.
Because I didn't moist meter any of these games.
You don't need to. They're
I only
ass.
finished one of them
Yeah.
on this list.
Why
because
would
the
you need
others were
to?
Just impossible for a human being to endure.
Who cares?
I felt like I suffered the same agony as Dante when he went to hell. So I just didn't moist meter them. And now let's get into
I don't blame you, brother.
5, we had
He's talking about Dante's
Redfall.
Inferno, not Devil
In a
May.
surprise to nobody,
I never played
Redfall
it.
makes this list.
I never
This
played
is
it.
An unforgettable stain on Arcane. Arcane is a great developer. They have a solid resume, so this game obviously had a lot of hype before.
I mean, honestly, my opinion on Arcane Studios, they have some hitters and they have more hitters that people say are hitters, but in reality, they're just okay. People just say they're hitters because it's Arcane Studios, they can do no wrong. No, Redfall. Redfall is the exact reason why Arcane can do wrong. And their last games before this, I was like, they're not that good. People just said they were good. That doesn't make them good because everybody else says they're good.
Before it came out, which was immediately thrown down the tubes when it was revealed that the game wouldn't even run at 60 FPS on the Xbox, and this was supposed to be one of their big Xbox exclusives of the year, so they put on the clown makeup for that one and really played the fool. It completely took all of the momentum out of the title's launch and immediately just became a bit of a joke. The game released and it was worse than anyone could have imagined. Unfun, half-baked, the world is completely empty, filled to the brim with glitches out the wazoo. The AI is brain dead even at the highest difficulty. It just offers nothing even remotely fun. There is no redeeming qualities for Redfall unless you're looking at something to point and laugh at, but even that novelty wears off like 2 or 3 hours into it. Then it just becomes a tedious chore for everything. They couldn't even be bothered to put real cutscenes in the game, they just have still images that they pan a camera around. It's so lazy and pathetic, really. It was so bad that Phil Spencer himself even name-dropped it when he was talking about a bit of their flops this year and how they believed that Xbox wasn't really
Even
doing
Phil
enough to
Spencer
be
said
considered
that?
a competitor in the console wars.
I told you if you have an Xbox, get rid of it. There's no reason for you to have an Xbox because everything you want on Xbox that you like, you can play on PC. And PC does better. This is what I'm telling Xbox people. Get rid of your Xbox. You have no reason to have an Xbox. Either get a PS5 if you want a console, or if you love Xbox undyingly, just get a PC because they owned by the same motherfucking people. They're owned by the same people. You don't need an Xbox. Get a PlayStation. Get a fucking PlayStation.
For some reason, when I bring that up, some like Xbox enthusiasts tell me I'm lying. He literally went on record and said this. You can.
This is
watch
Phil
it for
Spencer,
yourself,
the CEO. He lost the console wars. We know. They've been lost this bitch for like 8 years. Only people pretending they don't are Xbox idiots and legitimately Xbox idiots. Because even the people that love Xbox legitimately know they can play Xbox games that are good on PC. You want to play Halo 2? PC. You want to play Halo Reach? PC. You want to play Forza? PC. You want to play Redfall? PC. You want to play Starfield? PC. You want to play Fallout? PC. What is the reason to have an Xbox? They got rid of the cool part in Xbox 360 when you had the little characters. That shit was legitimately cool. I don't know why they got rid of those. They did have some bad games though, like the Doritos game. Y'all remember that shit? I remember I had an Xbox 360 with my cousin. Me and my cousin used to play Xbox 360 all day, every day. Back when Xbox Gold came out for the first time, and that shit sucked. Because being a poor kid, you can't afford to play. You can't afford to buy online. Back then, PS3 you could play online for free, and then they said PS4, let's go ahead and make PlayStation Plus necessary. Thanks, Phil Spencer. You're the reason why gaming started to suck. Phil Spencer, the CEO. You're the reason why you fucking lost. Because you couldn't see the far game. All you could see was like the first 10 years. I could see the first 25 years. And so did everybody else on YouTube that was saying these are bad decisions in gaming. And you just couldn't see it because all you saw was stocks. And that's why you lost the console war. And that's why Sony won. And Sony's not even that great because they fuck up a lot too. They fuck up in a different way though. They still know at the end of the day, because they're Japanese, they keep the Japanese, the PlayStation family, they keep that solid. The only thing with PlayStation is they keep trying to expand. Like when they made the Uncharted movies, and the Uncharted movie was ass. They had everything for it to succeed. They had Spider-Man on that bitch. They had Spider-Man on Uncharted and the movie sucked. And the reason why I know this is because I talked to Sony. I used to work with Sony, legitimately. I still have their emails. I still have their contacts. I can message representatives at PlayStation right now if I wanted to. I still have their information. They gave me shit. They gave me this shit. They gave me controllers and shit. They've sent me stuff. They gave me a shirt. Y'all don't believe me. I'll be right back. I'm gonna let this keep talking. I'll be right back.
For yourself,
I can hear it
right there at your fingertips.
I can hear it.
Go on Google, go to this source, that source, any source really. Like he himself mentioned that Xbox wasn't doing enough this year, and I do agree. And Redfall was one of the things that he pointed out as being a blemish. Now, moving on to number 4, I think this one's going to have a few of you with your jaw on the floor for the placement on this one.
They sent me this shirt. Sony sent me this shirt. 2020 collection. This is a collector. This is a Balenciaga PlayStation 5 collector shirt. Not many people have this shirt. Not many people have. This is a collector shirt. And I wear this bitch rarely. I rarely wear this. But I'm gonna keep this here to remind y'all.
No one's gonna be surprised it's here, but I think you will be shocked to learn that number 4 goes to Gollum. Lord of the Rings Gollum game. This was by most considered to be the worst game of the year. And when I posted my video on it, I called it worst game of the year. I never played it so far.
You know what's crazy? They have promotions to give this game away for early people. Like, I knew this game was coming out like 2 years before it came out. And I asked for a review code several times. And normally I get a review code. If I ask for a review code, they normally just give it to me. Because I don't charge for, I didn't at the time. I didn't charge for reviews. I would just do the review and I would be honest about it. And that's it. And I got reviews for several games from Sony themselves. And like, I even tried to get a request for this game and they just denied it. Nobody got a code for this. People with millions of subscribers, we didn't get a code for this. And that gave me a yellow flag immediately. Like, you're not willing to give this code out. And then they kept pushing the dates back. Like I said, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were advertising this game and they didn't want to give codes to nobody. And then they said, we're going to push it back. And I was like, yo, this game's going to be fucking ass. And this is how I know gaming better than a lot of you normal people. Because you're legitimately normal people. You wait for the game to come out. I have legitimately played games weeks, if not months, before the game even comes out. And I have completed it. How do you think the review gets made? You think they only give it 1 day in advance for some people, but sometimes we get that bitch legitimately 2 months in advance. I've legitimately got offers for games like half a year in advance, and I totally forget about it. And like the game comes out or the game is coming out, and everybody's like, "Oh, I wonder if it's going to be good." Me already beating the game. Yeah, it's a solid game. I think you might enjoy it. It's more like a 6. How do you know? Okay.
I had the foresight to predict that it might actually get worse than Gollum, and by golly, I tell you, I swear with my hand on a stack of Bibles, somehow it did. Gollum is number 4 for the worst game of the year. That's how you know this year was special.
I'm talking to the people on the videos.
This would have been easily number 1. So,
I personally feel if you're in my Discord, you're a special individual. Whether that means special as in special ed or special as in you're the one. Special is special, whatever. It's better than being a fucking normal person, in my opinion.
What makes Gollum so shitty?
In my opinion.
Just look at it. It's a stealth game and a platformer, but none of the mechanics work well. It is extraordinarily boring.
Didn't play
This
it.
is the only game on the list.
Did Folger played this game? Did he enjoy it?
That I was actually able to finish though, because it became something like a challenge for me.
A challenge? This game is so ass. Can I beat it?
Display of
You got
strength, my
discovered. Wait, what?
challenge for me. Only game on the list I was actually able to finish though, because it became something like a challenge for me. Like this was my display of strength, my Gordian knot that I needed.
Hell no, I wouldn't play a game like this at all. This shit don't even work.
To cut.
How you got a stealth game and it don't work? And you automatically fail if you get discovered. This doesn't even look fun.
Beating this game. So I
We
pushed
know.
through all like 5 or 6 miserable hours of this experience and beat it, just to say that I'm one of the few that did.
Congrats,
So
brother.
I got my $50 worth out of this when I tell you what.
$50?
But this game was so bad that it actually led to the studio being shut down for it, because
Good.
not only did it not
This shit
sell
was
well,
ass.
but the reception was so overwhelmingly
Good.
negative that they viewed it as, I guess, embarrassing or shameful,
Good.
and they just closed the doors on
Good.
the studio.
Good.
Which is actually extremely sad.
No,
because the
it's
studio
good.
makes good games
No, they
outside
did.
of Gollum.
They did.
The games that they're known for making are not
Name me
stealth
'em.
platformers.
Name me their games.
Like Gollum was.
Name me
That
their
was
games.
Their first attempt at doing it, and they just didn't know how to do it correctly, so it led to this trash. But I was still upset
later,
to
Chaotic.
learn that
Be
the
safe, bro.
studio was closed in response to this game. Now, Gollum is horrible, and you're probably scratching your head, what could be worse than Gollum? Well, turn your attention to number 3 on this list, because we got a real heater. We've got Rise of Kong. Yes, this puppy's...
One of my last games working for the gaming channel that I was working with, one of the last games on my list was Call of Duty and Rise of fucking Kong. And I tell you, bro, I didn't finish this one. I finished Call of Duty 3-4 times before I was like, all right, I'm done. And I retired. This shit is legitimately bad.
Coming from the genius
Like-
visionaries, the Imagineers over at Game Mill.
This game is bad.
An infamous studio
Very
known for
bad.
producing absolute abominations.
And this
they
didn't
looked
change
at
it.
the catalog of games that came out this year. They said, you know what?
We could do
We've
better.
got Redfall.
We could do,
We've got Gollum.
we could do better than
But
that.
we can do worse. So they did. They pooped Kong out here within the last 3 months of the year
Yeah,
and
yeah.
said, hey,
I
this
said
is
no.
what we've got.
No.
How do you feel about it?
Ass.
And everyone groaned all at the same
Ass,
time. This is like a
ass,
$40
ass.
to $50 game, and it plays and looks like something a student in university could have thrown together in 48
This
hours
was $50
while overdosing on Xanax. It is absolutely atrocious in every measurable category.
I agree.
There isn't a single redeeming feature of this game.
I agree.
And the most insulting thing is that, once again, a Game Mill classic, it uses a beloved IP, Kong, and ruins it. It delivers a terrible game that nobody in the world, I imagine, can find a single positive thing about, which is basically Game Mill's slogan at this point for the games they produce. Which brings us to our super surprise special. We've got a tie for third place, actually, and it's another Game Mill game. It's the walk-
You want to know something funny? The part he's showing is the fun part of the game. This is legitimately the fun part because you're playing as Kong's mother or father or whatever. And then you play as Kong after this because your mom dies or whatever. And Kong fucking sucks. He's worse than this. Because you got to level up your character to get... This is the fun part. This is the fun part of the game. And the developers knew that. That's why they had this part be in the beginning. Because it gets worse.
This point for the
This
game
legitimately... It started off as like a 4 out of 10 for me. And then it legitimately dropped to a 1. Immediately.
Which brings us to our super surprise special. We've got a tie for third place, actually, and it's another Game Mill game. It's The Walking Dead Destinies. This puppy came out 3 weeks ago. They said, you know what? We're not done shoveling shit in your mouth. Open wide, gamers. Here's our ass.
How do
And
they
enjoy
keep
what
getting
comes
away
out.
with this?
And boy, howdy, did I.
They must
not
have some good
enjoy it
numbers.
at all. This game is, again, completely miserable, and again, takes a
It's the
very
IP.
popular IP
It's the
and runs
IP
it
gamers.
into the ground.
Look, the IP gamers, they don't know. They'll just play it because it's the IP. They will be like, yeah, it's shit, but whatever, it's the IP. Those are the undying loyal fans of the IP, and they will get so much money because the game will be so bad that more people buy it just to see how bad it really is. That's why their sales are so high, and that's why they keep making games. And videos like this actually help.
Even though the show itself
helps
kind of
until
ran
it doesn't.
into the ground a little bit, but that's a topic for a different day. The Walking Dead Destiny
It's like the
does
Pokemon
nothing
game.
right for usual.
Bro, Pokemon's been shit for a long time. I hear they're getting better, but I think those are just the undying loyal stans of Pokemon.
Well,
ain't no way. I don't think after the stuff that I've seen, and I've only seen clips from the Vtuber, so I'm not heavily informed. I haven't played Pokemon personally since Emerald, right? And I think Emerald's one of the greatest Pokemon games, right? Pokemon Stadium. Name me a game better than Pokemon Stadium, and then I'll play it.
Takes a page
That
out of
shit
Red
is
Ball's
amazing.
playbook here with the cutscenes where it's just slideshows. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. The gameplay, if you can even call it that, is
Close the
beyond
door.
sluggish and seems
Close
like
my
it's just
asshole.
there to
Give me
waste
some
your
bits and I
time,
close
so that
my
way
door.
you can't get a refund after 2 hours on Steam. It is incomprehensible how Game Mill keeps getting away with this. I truly believe in the conspiracy that they must have blackmail on all of these major franchises and just strong arm them into letting them use their IP to make this shovelware throwaway garbage. There is no way these games make any money for them, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the world that actually buys these bitches. Nobody buys them. The trailers look horrible. Like there's no one that ever actually.
Bro
falls
said,
for this,
I'm the
except for
only
maybe,
one that buys this
elderly
shit. I
grandparents
bet you
that buy
are.
these games for their children, not knowing gaming or something. So
I bet you are.
purchasing this. Like,
I ain't buy this
just don't
shit.
see their business model. There's no way they're making money. This has to be
They
a money
have to
laundering
be.
scheme or something. I don't get it. But yeah,
Okay, whoa,
I couldn't decide which game mill.
Whoa. He says that shit loosely. It might legitimately be a money laundering scheme, brother.
Game was worst there, so I let them duke it out and share the stage together at the number 3 for worst of the year. And that brings us to number 2. We have an actual.
That was number
scam
3?
game the day before. I had covered this game about
I totally
a year ago
forgot
where I was
about this.
Talking about how like all the
I
gameplay
totally
trailers and shit
forgot
are
about
fake.
this.
The game's not real. It's never coming out.
And then
Fast
it came
forward
out
to
for a
couple
day.
weeks ago, and this bad boy actually comes out, and it is nothing like the trailers led people to believe. It was a completely different game, and it was nearly unplayable. There was nothing in there that even shared the same DNA as what they were showing throughout the last year or so. From the most wishlisted game on Steam under a false pretense to one of the most universally hated games.
I feel like I should be suing if I bought this game.
And then 4 days
I would
later,
sue.
the studio behind it
I would
announced they were
sue.
shutting their doors.
Nah,
They
I'd
just
sue
called it
before you
quits
shut
and gave
down.
up.
I would sue
They
first.
had their cake, they ate it too. They
Yeah,
made their
yeah,
influx
you get
of
this
cash
lawsuit,
and then
bitch.
said, all right,
Take
we're
this
sailing off into the
lawsuit.
sunset, dropping this broken pile of garbage, this dog
That's
shit.
what I think it is. I feel like in gaming, we don't got enough rich people. That's what it is. We don't got enough rich people to be like, you know what? I'm a fucking sue. I got enough money. I'm a fucking sue. Because if I bought this game legitimately and this happened, I would look into a lawyer and I would get some fucking money back because I'd have nothing else to do but make more money. I mean, that's literally my life. I have nothing to do but make money. So yeah, if I bought Days, whatever the fuck it is, I legitimately sue. Legitimate, even if I don't win, because it doesn't matter about winning. It's about sending a message, like the Joker says. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
And for the few fans that were still holding on to the hope that maybe they'd get a game that's decent, you know, they'd waited so long for the day before, that was immediately ruined. And they'd never even bothered to try and fix it. Now, of course, I think
shit looks like
did get
ass.
refunds for this. I think Steam themselves even.
Oh, they got
issued
refunds?
refunds.
Oh, okay.
So
Then that stops the lawsuit. I got a refund on my money.
at least
There it
people
is.
got their money back. But
Because most rich people
what
don't
a
care. Yeah, they're too busy trying to make more money.
disaster of a game. It's actually disrespectful to even call this a game because this really seemed like they panicked just to produce something to avoid a potential lawsuit.
Yeah, it's just 50
That's
for
my
Charlie,
theory
yeah.
on it, at least, because this never even.
It's like a thing of whenever you get rich, you stop caring. But when you get super rich, you care a lot. But then you get super, super rich where you don't really care. But you care enough because it's like, fuck it. You ain't got shit else. It's like me. I don't do shit but watch VTube videos. Like, we're 3 hours into the stream. We're just watching gaming videos now. It's like, who cares? If people watch, they watch. If they don't watch, they want. Like, we had 15 viewers earlier. It's like, okay, there it is. There is the people that wanted to watch. Okay, cool. Y'all got y'all entertainment. Now we just hanging out. Like, it's nighttime. I should be hanging out with my neighbors, but I told you guys Monday through Friday I'm a stream. So here it is. We just
tried. Like for a zombie game, the most zombies I ever saw on the map at any given
One.
time was 4. It was also
Who is
nearly
that? That's
impossible to
one.
run into any other players. It also ended up being a fucking
That's the first
extraction
zombie I've
shooter,
actually
which
seen.
is not at all what they advertised in the slightest. So I don't even know if I can really call this a game. It
I
was
don't think
just
this guy's-
legitimately a fucking scam, which is why it's got the comfortable number 2 spot here. But you know what's got the number 1 spot for the worst game of the year?
What's worse than this?
Well,
no
none other
way.
than another Game Mill production.
No way.
Of the 6 worst games I can
Avatar?
think of this year, 3 of them
That's
belong to
crazy.
Game Mill. That's
That's crazy.
A historical achievement. Usually a studio will have 1, maybe 2 bad games in a year.
of the
at
worst games,
most.
and these are recent.
It's unheard of to have 3.
These are
and in
recent.
The span of about 4 months. I
Yes,
believe,
these
with all
are
of those
recent.
out. Like, round of applause, Game Mill. You really outshit yourself for this one. This was incredible. The number 1 worst game of the year is Avatar: Quest for Balance. I think it is Game Mill's worst game since Big Rigs Over the Road Racing.
And they made a lot of money from this. And you know why they made a lot of money from this? Because on Netflix, Avatar: The Last Airbender has been concurrently one of the most viewed shows of all of Netflix. It has been one of the most viewed shows. I'll show you right here. Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because it's one of the greatest shows ever made. Avatar, what the fuck is this? They made another one? No, Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show, bro. Here it is, watch it on Netflix, 9.3. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's deserved. This is legitimately one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Legitimately one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, and now it's on Netflix. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Netflix rating. Bro, they milking the fuck out of this old ass IP. This shit came out in 2005. 3 seasons, a kid's show, 2005, and they're remaking it and making bad games of this. They're making bad games and bad Netflix versions. All because it's marketable again. And I was watching this show last night. I'm rewatching it. I rewatch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Legitimately, I watch it like every year. I watch it either every year or I watch it every 2 years. So I'm rewatching it from book 1 and like relearning the lessons like about reincarnation and accepting who you are in the face of danger. And even though you're a young kid, even though you're all young kids, these are all kids, they went and saved the world. Remember in Avatar: The Last Airbender, I believe Aang can save the world. Aang legitimately saves the world. Episode 1, The Boy in the Iceberg, amazing. The Avatar returns. Prince Zuko is the only one to know the Avatar is here. Then they go to the Southern Air Temple, right? The Southern Air Temple, we know Monk Gyatso dies. Aang finds out the war is real. This isn't just some teenager coming after you, because he said, you're just a teenager. Like this is a world war. And here is this kid. He finds out this war is real. All of his people are dead besides him, and he is the Avatar. And now the warrior Kyoshi, he goes to Kyoshi Island. Avatar Kyoshi was two avatars before him, because you got Aang, and then you had Roku, and then you had Kyoshi, and then you had the water avatar, and then you had another air nomad, because that's how reincarnation works. So all of these people met their version of the Avatar some years ago. And whenever you get to Kyoshi Island, it's like, I'm the Avatar. No, the fuck you're not. The Avatar died 100 years ago. Watch me fly. I'm an airbender. I am the Avatar. And this is your island. And then it gets invaded. And all these people have been training because they're at war. This is a legitimately amazing show that adults and children can watch. And here they are shoveling bad games.
You don't know this, but that was a Game Mill game. Often considered the worst game ever produced in the history of gaming. That was Game Mill. That's got their fucking stamped seal of quality. But Avatar: Quest for Balance is closely behind it. Not only is the gameplay the most monotonous gameplay imaginable, I'm almost 100% certain they must have lifted this from the Nickelodeon website from back in the day or something and like poorly copy and pasted it here and upgraded the graphics. And upgraded I'm using really generously here because it looks like shit. Everything about it sucks. But what hurts the most is that it takes, again, a beloved IP and produces
Mangiazzo. That's not Mangiazzo. That's the guru.
First imaginable game for it. I love Avatar, and to see Game Mill get their grubby little paws on it and produce this is nothing shy of an insult and them spitting in my
And I see why, even though this is a broken game, I think Days Before is actually worse, and everybody agrees. But then you get to the Avatar part, and it's like, yeah, this shit is bad. But only people watch. They saw Avatar. They're like, no way, this game's way worse because it doesn't work. But if you know the story of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and then you see how they're treating this shit, it's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting.
Face and
legitimately
face of fans. And the worst part is, I know some kids got this game as a present for their birthday or for a holiday.
And congrats,
because Avatars on
congrats.
In the name.
Game's
and it's $50. They're charging $50 for this trash. I think Avatar: Quest for Balance very narrowly squeaks out the #1 spot over Day Before. Day Before is a scam, like an actual scam game, and Avatar is arguably a scam game because it is so fucking lazy and trash that it's clear this was just made to get a couple of quick sales from confused customers that didn't know anything about it aside from the IP's name on the box. It is so impressive how horrible Game Mill is. And I'm pretty sure they do it on purpose. You can't accidentally make games this bad.
They have to.
Like I said on stream, every time I play a Game Mill game, it is immediately apparent that they are not using like assets that you buy on the
it has to be
for the engine.
It has to be
because
legitimately.
If they did, their games would instantly look better. They are going out of their way to make their games look and play worse than if you had just purchased some cheap assets to throw in there. Like it's incomprehensible to me. What a year Game Mill had. What a fucking year. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in Avatar: Quest for Balance, half of the gameplay, like it's divided up. You'll do like some of the worst puzzles ever, and then some of the worst combat ever, and then you go into Subway Surfers. They actually just
wait, what?
Surfers.
You're shitting me.
That's how shameless this game is. It's horrible. I think it deserves the #1 spot for worst game of 2023. Unfortunately, I don't have a trophy for you, Game Mill, so there's nothing for you to collect. But if you want to celebrate this impressive feat, this accomplishment, if you want to celebrate it on your socials, I can whip you up a graphic or something. It'll say your winner, which is of course a throwback and homage
to
Big Rigs Over
your
the Road
winner
Racing.
Yep.
And then
you
can
rigs.
Have your 3.
If y'all don't know what Big Rigs Over the Road Racing is, that was legitimately like one of the worst games ever made, legitimately, until Avatar came along.